Hello and welcome back to another episode of mHUB Inside. Today we're going to talk about another one of my personal projects. So I am an avid scuba diver. I really enjoy being in the water. And when I was scuba diving last year in Hawaii, I found this flashlight on the beach, which happens to be a really nice dive flashlight. After doing a lot of research and taking it apart, I found out that this used to be black. When I first found it, it was totally crusted over. I put it into a sonic bath, cleaned it up, a little CLR, and it was amazing. As you can see, it is very nice and shiny. Halfway through the process, I realized I should have been filming all of this. So some of that was missed, but I'm more than happy to explain any of the processes people might want to see in the future. So make sure to comment down below if you want to learn about those processes. Found out this is a $170 flashlight. They stopped selling it 5 years ago, I believe, XS Scuba. Contacted them and I was like, oh yeah, can I get some more details, all that kind of stuff. Now that I've got it working, I noticed that the front lens is very, very dirty, scratched up. So what I did, and starting to film now, is I've created myself a tool using our fiber laser so that I can take this off. I'm going to make sure that the gaskets are all good on the inside. I'm going to water jet some new lenses out of either polycarbonate or basilica glass. And then I'm going to pressure test it using our vessel to make sure that it's still good for using underwater, because you should always test your equipment before you start using it, especially in a potentially scary situation. So follow me along the process and let me know anything you else want to see. Thanks. So a couple other things before I take off this lens that I've done is I've created myself some sleeves, because originally what was in here was a very specific odd size battery, a 26650 I believe is what it is. A little bit more common is a 21700, which also fits. So what I did is I created some sleeves that allow those to fit in here because they're the same voltage, so now it won't rattle around too much, and created one to hold a 21650 or 16650. So they're a little bit more standard, so if I need to find a battery in an emergency sake or want to bring other additional batteries, I don't have to have the bigger, more expensive ones. So those are a couple of little things that I've done. So this guy I designed up in Fusion. I just took some basic measurements of what I could approximate from this outer ring, as well as what I assume these are, but really, as long as I have some decent contact in each of those little circles, I should be able to get this out too much of an issue. The way that I designed this is I just wanted a standard 3/8 socket to be able to kind of pop into place, and this is just some 1/4-inch steel, or a little thicker, but so let's see how well this works. See, that actually worked pretty damn well. Now that I have it out, I'll probably do this without the wrench. Another way, I could have probably taken a chisel or a cold hammer and just knocked it around, but then I would have chewed all of this up, which is I would have preferred not to have happened. Part of the scratching was when I had polished this up using our wire wheel, and I realized after the fact that I should have taped that off or something. But now I get to make a whole new thing and double check that it's sealing and everything is nice and correct. So this is coming off pretty good. I got an O-ring in there, got an O-ring in there, and we can see just how cruddy that actually is. That is pretty bad. So now we're going to replace it with, we're going to test doing a polycarbonate and a borosilicate glass on the Wazer, and we can stick that in there and see how well that works. Okay, so if we look here, there's some scratching here and here. I cut the plastic off first because I was told that it was going to blow away anyway, but I want to see what happens if I cut through the plastic rather than remove that for these two tabs to see if that scratching will go away. So we've reset it. It's held down in a slightly different place. And we're going to run through this process. Alright, new lesson learned. Leave the plastic on. Maybe. Nope, we're still getting quite a bit of haze right here, which is not ideal, but there's a little bit of a nibbin right there. But we might as well check our fit. Let's see how that does. That seems like a pretty good fit, and in case of a backup lens or something along those lines, this would also work nicely. So let's try glass. Alright, so we have our borosilicate held down, nice and tight. Cool, so we're doing borosilicate because it should be very tough, impact resistant. It's basically the same stuff as Pyrex. It should be able to withstand the pressure without being scratched as well. And I should be able to get a few cuts out of this if I want to. So let's try it. It's so much faster than the polycarbonate, which is kind of crazy. And it's done. So let's see what that looks like. So that just kind of popped off. With the one little tab that was there. There's a tiny bit of a nibbin. Let's wash this off and see what it looks like. Okay. Yeah, we don't have any clouding. It stays very clear. I am very happy with that. We'll see if we can file off that little bit of nibbin, but even if that's still there, I believe... Nope, I gotta get rid of that. Okay. So instead of a file, I'm going to use machinist stone to see if I can't get that little bit of nubbin off. So we got a bunch of different stones here, and we're going to see what works best. We'll start with something that's a little coarser. That seems to be working. Yeah, let's certainly deal with that though. Are we getting a little bit of a fracture there? Possibly. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to try and cut one without a tab at all and see what happens. Alright, got a new file on here with no tabs. So let's try again. So first step of this is we let the machine home itself, validate the file name, make sure the abrasive is filled with hopper, or the hopper is filled with abrasive, the water supply is on, the material is fastened to the bed. We're going to set our jog height. It's the same height because we didn't change anything, so it's fine. And then we're going to change our origin to where I have this set up. So I'm just trying to move this to a corner. We're going to set that and then do a dry run to see what this looks like. So that would have cut out the corner, so I need to change my origin again a little bit more. Alright, I got this so that it is just barely on there. It should be all good. So now we can close this and say cut, start. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's check it out. Alright, that came out looking pretty good. There's no nibbing. There is a little tiny inset, but when we test it in here, it's outside the O-ring line, so I don't care. That seems like it should work great. So I think this is probably my winner. So now we're going to move on to pressure testing. Okay, so now we get onto our testing phase. First thing I need to do is I need to weigh this before we dunk it in the water, which is then going to go into the pressure vessel. Then we will pressurize this to 55 psi, which would be the equivalent of 90 feet. The way that works is 14.71 in atmospheric pressure at sea level. You get an extra 4.445 pressure per foot the further you go down. The max this vessel will go to is 55. So if we subtract that original 14.7 from that, we get 40.3 divided by 0.445 gets us just about 90 feet. So on a recreational dive, this is just fine. So what we're sitting at now is 20837. And so after we take this out from the pressure vessel, if this has any extra weight, then we know that we have some water coming in that's within a reason. So we'll see how that works. I've got this, you can see that's going to fit in there. So that's fully immersed. Press that in there. Put this on and lock it down. So make sure these are all snug. hook up our air. And bring this up to pressure. Now that we're sitting at pressure, we'll do 10 minutes and come back and check it. All right, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's check this out. This is going to be very loud, so cover your ears. .20845, 20837. I'm gonna guess that's probably residual amounts of water that might be on here. It's less than a gram, but it might be something. But so far, that is the process that we're gonna use to figure this out, and I'm just gonna keep cleaning it until it's all good. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode.